What's going on, my beautiful people from YouTube? Let's talk about what's going on in the markets because this is big and it affects all of us. I wish it didn't, but that's just how the cookie crumbles in this case because a lot of these things are interconnected and we can see a lot of blood as far as the markets are concerned. And I just kind of want to give you a little bit of a breakdown as far as what's going on. I'm going to make this quick, and my goal is just try to inform you as far as what's going on here and how it might impact all of us. All of this started because of some not so nice comments, and I'll bring this up so you guys can see it on screen. Ryan Salami made a comment saying that it was awesome to see CZ kind of going out there and, you know, providing debates and talking about the crypto industry. And then you have Sam coming over and saying, excited to see him repping the industry in DC going forward. He is allowed to go to DC, right? That's kind of a messed up comment. That's alluding him to maybe where he's from and why he might not be allowed to come into the States. It's just not a very nice thing to say about somebody. And I guess it just all went downhill from there. And I want to make sure you guys understand that CZ kind of, it's not even doubling down. He just said, I'm done. You know, like we got a lot of FTX and I'm just going to drop it. I don't want it. I don't want to touch this with 10-foot pole if this is not what I'm about. And if you take a look at like what he actually said, it's exactly it. So as a part of Binance exit from FTX, you know, equity last year, Binance received roughly 2.1 billion USD equivalent in cash and FTT, which is the token for FTX. Due to recent revelations that have come to light, we have decided to liquidate any remaining FTT on our books. And he went on to kind of keep at it. So we will try to do so in a way that minimizes market impact due to market conditions and limited liquidity. We expect this, you know, will take a few months to complete. Binance always encourages collaboration between industry players regarding any speculation as to whether it is a move against a competitor. It is not. It is not. Okay, so they're trying to say this is not against a competitor, but it's basically at the end of the day, I'm not going to stand around and let this guy say these types of things and let him get away with it, right? So we typically long these tokens long term, and we have held this token for this long. We stay transparent with our actions. This is wild, and it impacts the industry more than people realize. And if you guys take a look at the charts, just how drastic this thing plummeted, and it's actually going down again. I'm recording this video pretty late at night here on the West Coast. So it's coming back down again and again. We did have, this is a tweet that was actually already deleted from Caroline. She's from Alameda. She said, CZ Binance, if you're looking to minimize the market impact on FTT sales, Alameda will happily buy it all from you today at $22. So they're basically saying, hey, don't screw this up for everybody. We'll give you the money. And if you take a look at a bigger picture, this is a big deal because there's a lot at stake here. The liquidity that they provide kind of goes beyond what most people even realize. And there is a tweet from Dylan LeClaire, and he gives a little bit of insight into that. So for those missing the context, it looks to be highly probable that Alameda/FTX has loans collateralized with FTT, which is the token exchange of which they own a vast majority of free float for. CZ is responding by unloading all of Binance's stake. It's a lot of money, guys. So this is actually a reply to one of his earlier tweets. So if you look at the numbers per CoinDesk, Alameda Research has 14.6 billion of assets against 8 billion of liabilities. It's a lot, and this impacts the markets as a whole. So Solana is a big one that's locked up in there as well because of these assets. So I just want you all to understand that what's happening right now is because people don't watch their mouths and decide to be jerks. That's way to being looked at, and others are just not standing for it and saying, you know what? All right, is this the way you're going to be? I'm down. I can handle it. This is like a head-to-head fight. For, you know, between two pretty, well, not big, the two biggest people in this space right now. And I don't want to say who's going to win because the most important thing is who's going to lose. And that could be all of us, unless you're shorting things like crazy, because that's where this would head. When you have all of these tokens dropping so much in value, and you have other tokens, that have been borrowed against it. It creates this, cascading effect that could liquidate a lot of people out of business, and a lot of people that, maybe have nothing to do with this. So just have that understanding that this is not good for the space as a whole. And I wanted to make sure you guys understood why it's happening, where it begun, and where we could go from here. We heard from Alameda that they would buy it at $22. I'm very curious to see if that happens, because we've dropped below $22 today already. And the trend is now it's going down again. We'll see where this takes us, because it's a big deal for the entire industry. We had a huge drop. They dumped a lot of money all at once, and then people bought back in. I'm sure a ton of people got liquidated, and it's just one of those times that I don't want to say I told you so, but we had this November thing that I told you guys about. We're going to get back in November. November is that time frame that I'm expecting things to pick back up, which they kind of did. And then this happened, which is the other side of things. And I was like, oh, I think November is a turning point. I think that we might start to pick back up. But there could be some, downside to it. It could get worse before it gets better. Regardless, looks to be that November is going to be a very volatile month, and you guys just got to watch it. Don't leave anything open without stop losses. Make sure that you're keeping a close eye on your tokens, because it's not looking pretty. Any way you try to slice this, it's just not a good place for anybody to be in. And it's kind of wild to think about how one company can actually do all of this to the market. But that's where we stand, and why I can't wait for these markets to grow even bigger, because it shouldn't have to be this way. Yes, there's always going to be big players on the market, but I really, really would love to see a even more decentralized spread of assets, because it's way too much power for one person, in my opinion. And I am just waiting for you and your neighbor and your cousin and your mom and your aunt and whoever else to get involved and, kind of spread this out even more, so that we can have an even better market moving forward, less volatile, and a place where it can be a little bit easier for people to trade, for beginners to kind of get into and not go, oh, wow, this dropped 30% in one day. I don't know if I can deal with that. So we'll get there. It's not going to be today. It's not going to be tomorrow, but hopefully soon. That's my hope as far as the markets go, because I really do want to see this whole thing move forward into a happy place where we can all hang out and, just be happy with, the people that got in early and were able to take advantage of low prices and, kind of figured out what was happening early on. So you guys are great. I'm going to leave it here. Don't want to make it too long. Just want to give you guys an update as far as what's going on and a little bit of an understanding as to how we got here in the first place. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.